Everybody, smash the like button.
Yo, GMG guys, hope you're doing well. Hopefully you can hear me. It just said that my mic was unplugged, which is crazy. Should be good to go, but my name is JChains. It's 10 a.m. That means it's time for some Web3 breakfast. Hope you guys are doing well. Like I said just a second ago, make sure you, if you are watching the live stream, you hit that heart, tag some friends, repost it out. Now, if you are here in the space or if you'd like to be, come on up to the stage. Let's talk about tokenization today. A lot of things going on in that realm. A lot of things planned to obviously, join our ecosystem here that is blockchain. I've got some plans for myself here to join the RWA, the tokenization world. So we'll get into some stuff in just a little bit here. We'll look at some charts. We'll look at, we'll go to CoinMarketCap. We'll look and see what are the best performers in this, in this ecosystem here, how that's looking. Look at some stories we've got and some articles. Obviously we got Kraken out at ECC. They announced something yesterday and they have got some amazing news, but is it all that good? You got, I'm sorry, that was Robinhood that was out in ETH cans that did some stuff, and then Kraken announced their X stocks. But the question that you got to ask yourself about that is liquidity, man. If you look at kind of the advertised price versus the settlement price, way different. Now we know that there's some movement in crypto, but are stocks supposed to be, fluctuating, by multiple percents? I don't think so. We're not quite there yet. So we'll take a look at that. And that was in a post that I had put out yesterday. We'll go through that as well here. So I appreciate you guys being here. GM Wednesday, July 2nd. I can't believe it. It's going to be like tomorrow. We'll be talking about August. You know what I mean? Like, it's just going to go like that. It's summer. It's DeFi summer a few years ago. This summer, it's RWA summer. So get on board. Smash the like. Let's get it. If you guys do want to come up and chat with us today, make sure that you raise your hand to do so. There is no obligation by any stretch of the imagination. I'm just letting you know that option is available to you. So, all right, let's do this. Let's shift gears, swing this thing on over to CoinMarketCap here. And what we've got this thing situated. We've filtered just to the RWA tokens by market cap. So, I'm really thankful that, we've got the right ones on here. We got, for a while I was using CoinGecko, but they didn't quite have the right numbers, or the projects listed on RWAs, but that's why I like CoinMarketCap. Anyway, so you got Chainlink. That is obviously the number one by market cap. You got an $8.8 billion market cap. Interested to see where this thing is go. If you have been paying attention to the news and you understand what Chainlink's got going on, Chainlink, a lot of people said it's already had its time, but I feel like it was just a little too early. And now all of the relationships, the partnerships, all of those things are really coming together, and they are coming together quite nicely, I believe, for the Chainlink ecosystem and everything that they're touching. So, shout out to Sergey and the team. I got a chance to meet him actually in Toronto when I was hanging out at Permissionless. So definitely had a great conversation. It wasn't like the longest conversation. It was probably 5 minutes, we were just shooting the breeze at a networking event, but connected with a few members of his team, and definitely look forward to seeing where those go, those connections, and seeing what we can do to facilitate a conversation at some point. Let's see where that all leads. And that's the whole point of what I've been doing and why it's so important to get out to the IRL events, because that's where the connections are made. And especially building the media company that I got going on, W3BC Media, it makes so much sense to be out at those events and to make the connections with people at the highest level, as well as just crypto fanatics. You know what I mean? Every relationship, you never know. And you guys have seen, I've got a podcast recording that I'm going to do today with Jerome. We're going to record that. And if you have been a fan of the channel, if you understand, it was at Consensus actually in Toronto, where I got a chance to meet him. I was hanging out we had Doug was in town from the UK, Mike, obviously the Modern Canadian, he's from up there. And so, we were, doing our filming, doing our stuff on site. And I really was done. I was toast. I didn't feel, sometimes you just like, I'm done doing this. I didn't want to ask any more questions. I didn't want to interview anybody. I didn't want to record anything. I was maybe not feeling defeated, but just, whatever. And, Doug was like, what are you doing, man? That's what you came here for. It's what we all came here for. was like, you know what, you're right. And so the next guy that I interviewed, and some of you probably do know the story, the next guy that I interviewed was Jerome, and he's got a platform that he's working on that helps with mental health for athletes and entrepreneurs. And I would say that this is absolutely such a great relationship to have made. And, you know, it was one of those, again, where you put yourself out there. Sometimes you're a little bit tired. You got to push that extra 1%, make yourself 1% better by pushing yourself a little bit harder. Sometimes when you need to get, you know, a little bit more dirty, a little bit, you know, more tired, a little bit more sweaty, one more set, whatever it is, right? Just sometimes push yourself a little bit farther, and you never know what the end result. For me, this was absolutely a net positive. So we're going to record today. I would expect that episode will either be out later this week or early next week, depending on how long it is. I think we've set aside an hour. So, you know, we'll see how it goes. So, all right, that is coming up later today. So shout out to my guy, Jerome. Looking forward to chatting with you if you're listening. All right, back to the list here. So we got Chainlink. That's obviously our number one. So if you're trying to put together an RWA portfolio, this is something, you know, I'd say maybe 2-3 months ago now that we did this. I went through this entire CoinMarketCap list, and I think we stopped at maybe, you know, several $100,000 market caps because we weren't going to get into the bullshit at the end. And I can show you what that looks like. You know, let's see here. Let's go to the end here. Page 2. We'll go to page 2 and we'll go all the way to the bottom. Remember, this is sorted by market cap. So now we've got here, like, you know, we're not looking at Vapor Fund. That sounds terrible. Sounds like vaporware to me. I mean, now these doesn't mean that they're bad projects. Just when we did this exercise, that's not what we were doing. Now we could do a special, you know, like a micro caps, right? They're on here. Let's see. We've got, you know, I don't know about that. I don't think we want to handle that quite yet. But maybe what we'll do is now, you know, that we've had another big shakeout, it would make sense to go back and do another live stream where we go through every single project. We go through their website. We go through the price. We can even do price history. I may still have the spreadsheet that we put together when we did the last time. If not, I'm sure it's on, you know, on the show, and we could screen scrape it and put it, rebuild it or whatever. But, you know, figure out when we first did that, you know, because we did pick, I think it was, if I'm not mistaken, a $10,000 sample portfolio based on a couple of the projects. I cannot remember how many we picked. I would assume it was going to be in the 7 range. That would make the most sense to me. And, you know, the whole idea was we were going to put together this portfolio. And I would say it has probably since been blown up because we've taken at least 2 legs down since we've done this. And so now that I feel like maybe, you know, this was definitely before April, right? And April is where we started to make the turn back up. So let's go back and revisit this in the next week or so, and we'll take a look at all of the RWA projects. We'll pull them out by market cap. We'll talk about them. We'll look at the websites, look at the team, look at the socials, all that stuff, and we'll make some decisions on what, you know, what we like and what we don't. We'll put that together. So if that's something you want to be a part of it and chat about, as I know we got some of the friends in our community are big time into the tokenization stuff. So all right, let's go here. Let's go to our biggest gainers in the let's just go by market cap. Biggest gainers here on the scene here. Planet never. Why is this? Here we go. Poison Finance. Nope, not sure. We're still on page 2, aren't we? That's why. We need to go back to page 1. And let's go. Last 24-hour action. Plume. All right, Plume up 14.5%. Not too bad. We need to let's dive into this thing a little bit here. You got a 10 billion token supply. You got 2 billion out, so 20% out. So we got a little bit way to go. Let's see here. You got a $42.6 million. So you got almost a $200 million market cap. Let's take a look at their website. I've never been to the Plume website. It's a great time for you guys to smash the like button. If that's what you're into. Smash the like button. Make sure you are following. If you are in the space and you want to chat tokenization or anything in general, it's fine. You're more than welcome to while we wait for this silly page to load. There we go. So it's funny that it's showing up on the stream, but not my computer. It's like just a great page. Here we go. Why aren't you changing? You silly goose. Go here. Go here. All right. We are showing this screen here. Share that tab. Share that tab. It does not want to show the Plume website for some reason. That's wild. Let's go to. That doesn't want to. Where? This is how we do this. This is how we handle this. Share screen. There we go. We're back in business, baby. All right. So the website is what we really wanted to share. So we got this now. Share the screen. Boom. RWAs that feel just like crypto, transforming assets into globally accessible financial tools with true crypto native utility. I know a lot of people like Plume. This is going to be one that'll do some big numbers. I think a 10x is probably in the cards for it, right? If you look at a $200 million market cap, getting this thing up to a 2 billion. I mean, that's not going to be hard in an actual bull run, especially if they are doing a lot of big things and they got a lot of big partnerships, right? You look at the news stuff right here. Plume Network engages SEC with DeFi sandbox proposal. The protocol Polygon wants a scaling leader as a revamp. Plume launches Genesis mainnet to bring real world assets to DeFi. I mean, you know, we've heard their name in so many different headlines and partnerships, and you know, definitely one that you want to take a look at, no doubt. All right, let's go back and take a look at our list here. Remember, we want our big gainers. Nexera, I've never heard of Nexera. Let's take a look at this one. Coming in at under a penny. It's up 13% today. There is 1.14 billion tokens total supply. Circulating is 1.02. So you got a lot of them out. $9.26 million market cap. This could be one to look at. From compliance to tokenization, interoperability, and standardization, Nexera chain is the unified blockchain that brings everything to life. Powering real-world applications. Launch, terminal, bridge, exchange, compliance, interoperability protocol, token market infrastructure, wallet as a service. Interesting. Now, where can you get this? What markets is it on? So you can get it on Uniswap, so it's ETH based. All right. Mexi, KuCoin, CoinX. All right. None of the majors yet. We'll put a little star next to this thing. We definitely want to. Let's look at. We can get to their. Go back to their website. Can we get to the socials? Yes, we can. Let's go here. They're based out of the Netherlands, according to their website. No link to an X page. Come on, you gotta have X. Oh, here we go. Throw a follow. See what happens here. The best early stage startups are funded here. By Nexera. Okay, so Nexera official. This is we want to follow here. Let's look at some of their numbers. 48 minutes ago, 47 likes. Compliance, interoperability, institutional grade infrastructure built on Nexera. Let's see here. Okay, so they're active. They're in spaces. That's always a good sign. Love to see projects that that are active and get out there. Let's see if we can get them on a show. All right, Nexera, let's talk. All right, back to CoinMarketCap. All right, let's look at some of the extra before we, you know, really kind of get in the weeds here, because we could look at these all day. You got Ondo up 2%, and then VeChain up just a skosh 0.02% today. But that's wait, we didn't. We're not on our. That's what. So we got some decent gainers on our list today there in the RWA world. All right, let's go to let's look at this article here. What's up, my guy Carrie? All right, so you look at this article. Robinhood gives out tokens of OpenAI and SpaceX in Europe, and the stocks hit record. Let's look at the key points. Robinhood is now offering tokenized shares of OpenAI and SpaceX to users in Europe, setting its share up near 13% to a new all-time high. Very interesting. The company's marketing the launch by giving €5 worth of OpenAI and SpaceX tokens to every eligible user in the EU who onboards to trade stock tokens by July 7th. This marks the first time Robinhood has tokenized private companies enabled by the EU's looser investor restrictions. Now, while US users can't access tokenized equity yet, Robinhood has reintroduced crypto staking, previously blocked by the SEC for Ethereum and Solana. So we know this stuff is headed our way, boys and gals. We know it is definitely coming our way in the US. I see I got some Canadian buddies coming up. I wonder, you guys seem to always be our testing ground. Do you think we'll see some stock market activity out of you guys first before we hit? GM, by the way.
I have no idea. Yeah, GM, what's going on?
Chilling,
It was a nice surprise to see Bitcoin kind of at 107 again this morning. That was nice because I was kind of worried that we're gonna have more of a dip. I hope that was it. But yeah, stock market. I don't know. To be honest, like the market really, the world really revolves around the U.S. stock market. To be honest, so whatever happens here is really just a proxy for whatever's going on over there.
I mean, that's a good point. That's a good point. But as far as like testing new things, we usually let other people do that. Maybe that's why we're letting the EU. Too bad we don't have Doug over here. We could get some information, or what is ETH Kansas going on still, right? I wonder if there's any other. Wonder if there's any other big things happening, big announcements. What do you guys think of the X stock stuff? Did you pay attention to any of that?
I have not actually seen anything about the X stock. Aren't they a private company? They don't have a stock, right?
So
or are they planning to go public again?
So Backed is I think launching. I got the article. Let me just see if I can find it. Here it is. From Wall Street to your wallet, tokenized equities now available on Kraken. Beginning a phased rollout of tokenized U.S. stocks and ETFs powered by Backed X Stocks innovation for eligible non-U.S. clients. So this is X Stocks now on Kraken as well. The whole idea of, and I had put out a post about this kind of stuff yesterday, relating this X Stocks to, maybe what Ondo's global market is doing, because Ondo Global Markets is actually, working with, issue of stocks and actual liquidity. And so I broke this whole thing down. And, if you look at X Stocks, they're launching with basically bullshit. There's no liquidity. There's, price fluctuations of like 14% in some cases. And like in the stock market, like that shit doesn't work, right? There's a whole bunch of hidden fees. Like if you look at, the advertised price versus the settle price before you, click buy, there's 1% for this, 1% for that, all that stuff that, it's not listed. And, there's what kind of protections do you think people are going to see? And if you look at, say, like, again, I don't mean to be tooting the horn of Ondo, but, Ondo Global Markets, that these are real shares held by U.S. brokers. Like these are the broker dealers are actually holding these things. And it makes a lot more sense. And again, the liquidity is going to be unmatched. And we know that. Unmatched. And I don't know. I'm just really excited for where all of this is going down later on this year, right? Like we're watching the groundwork be laid. The framework is definitely, we're gonna see the shift. I think, what is it, by February of 2026? So I mean, obviously that's like 8 months from now. That's not a long time. I believe the NASDAQ is switching over to the 24/5, right? So they'll be live 24 hours a day, Monday through Friday, pausing on the weekends. And guys, like we're in for some wild times, because that's like our blockchain's time to shine.
That's definitely gonna change the game, having the markets open 24/7.
Do you think like most stock people, like if you're traditional and old school, like you won't be able to handle that?
I think it's going to move more automated. Things will just be bots automating, and most of the market will be automated.
What about like, the old guy who, his routine is to get up early, read the reports, like, look at the pre-market stuff. Like there's none of that anymore, right? Like it's just things been ripping and roaring all night. So old man goes to bed, wakes up, and could be in a whole nother bracket.
I would be betting hard on the price of caffeine.
Sorry, I was
and
grabbing coffee. I'm in the drive-through Tim Hortons.
that's what I'm saying. I would be betting hard on the price of coffee and cocaine, because there would be these old school stock market guys who just won't sleep now because they have the ability that they've always wanted to be able to like stay up all night long and like binge drink caffeine and bet on the stock market. You know what I'm saying?
Dude,
and like it's what we've always enjoyed as a crypto person. We've always enjoyed that luxury, and these stock market people have been jealous.
Yeah, you got to think about the broker dudes who were maybe in their prime in the 80s, right? When Coke was ripping and roaring.
That's what I'm saying.
So now they're like,
that's what I'm saying.
They're like 40 years older.
They're still there.
40 years older. They're like, fuck yeah, this is my time to go. Let's get it. We get to party.
If they didn't take a header out of a 13-story building, then they're like ready. They're rip roaring, ready to go. You know what I'm saying?
That only happens like every now and then, right? When someone like mortgages the house.
It's a stereotype, dude. When there's a stereotype, then it's a stereotype for a reason. Generally, I don't know. I shouldn't say things like that, but like, if there's like if there's stories about guys who like lost so much money in the stock market that they like went jumping out of a building, there was probably at least like 5 to 10 guys who jumped out of a building because he lost all his money in the stock market. This is all I'm saying. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Thank goodness. Anyways. You know what I would say? Thank goodness. All of us crypto folks just work at home and live at home and do our thing at home.
Yeah, we all live in bungalows and 2-story buildings. So like the worst that could happen is like we break an arm.
Yeah, you just get wrecked and lay on the floor and you're fine. You know what I mean? You just fall out of your chair to the floor and you're good.
We just roll up into the fetal position and cry ourselves back to sleep.
Liquidated again. Oh no. It's never fun. But it is. Let me ask you a question, Carrie, and I'm not putting you on the spot here, and I know we addressed this yesterday, but as far as like with like Cosmos and like the NFTs and the stuff that you're doing, would you be able to say that there is any kind of tokenization or real world asset application into that ecosystem that you've seen?
Absolutely. In fact, it's funny you asked that because I'm involved right now in a project that is it's kind of cool. They market themselves as a NFT project. However, it's really an RWA project. It's an RWA project in disguise, right? Like because so you buy and stake 2 of their NFTs, and then once you stake them, you own a slice of one of their ASIC miners, and you receive in your Osmosis wallet every month a little bit of Bitcoin, wrapped Bitcoin.
Okay, I love this. And so because originally the game was if you were any kind of the exchange or the anticipation, the thought or the promise, whatever, of any kind of financial gain whatsoever deemed a security, that becomes basically a no-go for what you want to be doing. So but I do understand that recently Hester Peirce did come out. Hester Peirce of the SEC came out and said, as far as they're concerned, fundraising for Web3 companies in the way of NFTs is absolutely preferred and not a security. So is that as long as you have all this in mind, and maybe because before, remember when it was just like, if you have a roadmap, you're a security, and people are like, what does that even mean? Like, you know, the rules of the goalposts have obviously changed. And why I'm so curious in asking this, and I would love anybody who has any understanding, this is a great time for anybody who's listening, not only to smash the fucking like button, because you should be doing that anyway, but come up and join us, because here's the deal. I'm getting ready to put together and formalize, you know, some of the stuff that that I'm doing with the media company, but also, you know, kind of like the NFT side of it, the business side of it, with tokenization, fractionalization of businesses, and using NFTs to not only, like, you know, fundraise for the build out and all that stuff of these businesses, but, you know, really to get them operational and start having these things available at crypto conferences and in IRL, whatever. And the whole idea is, if you participate in, say, the you know, the founder round, or even just the token, it's the minting of the NFT itself, you know, you become a fractionalized owner of, not only, you know, if you do the NFT, it's, you know, the business, the specific business, but if you do the founder package, then you're everything overall, it's overarching. So, you know, how can I phrase all of this and say, you know, you get, you know, a rev share, you know, you get free, you know, food, or you get free merch, or free access to events, all that stuff. How do we start to, you know, really word this stuff so that we're not, you know, getting in trouble with, you know, SEC or whatever moving forward with being called a security?
I think you got to go through, the proper legal channels. So obviously, a lot of the stuff is still new.
Mhm.
So, everyone's kind of like figuring out fucking around and figuring it out kind of thing, right? I know I think of one business model for when it comes to, what you can use tokenized assets for, and NFTs. Like, think about, look at Grant Cardone. Grant Cardone owns a bunch of real estate. And what he does is people invest with him into his fund, and that's how he fundraises to buy more real estate. And the rents that they pays out a dividend that distributes out to the to all the shareholders. So now I can see why it's lucrative with Ondo and all institutions coming in, because it's something they already understand and already know. Now adding that and automating it and putting it on a blockchain. So if your company starts to produce, say you start investing in real estate, or you start investing in things with your company, and it starts paying dividends, paying you money, you can distribute that wealth to all the shareholders or NFT holders and all that. I think that's where we're going to go when it comes to tokenizing businesses and assets. Instead of having a fund that you invest in, it's going to be, that access with an NFT or a token, which will be, a share of that company.
Mhm.
And everyone gets paid the dividends.
Yeah, I mean, I feel you're right, and yes, I do have. It just so happens my brother is an attorney, and so, you know, him and I have been talking about all this stuff. So he's kind of, you know, looking into it for me. But like, I kind of feel like, you know, you're right. Like, if everything's set up, and, you know, you've got everything, you know, you got all your ducks in a line, and it's not so much like, you know, I'm not selling an NFT as, you know, just a collection, and, you know, hopefully number go up kind of thing. It's actually tied to businesses and all that kind of thing. I feel like not that it's loopholed. I just feel like there's a way to build all that in there, especially if they're saying that, you know, NFTs are a viable fundraising source for Web3 businesses and startups and stuff. So, Harry, I know you had your hand up. What's up, my brother?
Yeah, so I just wanted to say, I think Mike pretty much answered the question exactly the way that I was going to, except that like for these guys in particular, they're based in Russia, so I think, and they have like zones within Russia where it's like absolutely like legal to do certain things with crypto, and then there's zones where it's not. So like I don't understand that part of it. I haven't, like, you know what I mean, like dug in and asked these guys like exactly what's with these zones. But I know that, like, you know, within like St. Petersburg, there's zone with with the ability to use an NFT as a representative of the ownership of a real world asset, where you're not like you're not implicated in anything illegal, right? So he's built up this little mini Bitcoin farm, and he's like, instead of paying for it all himself, like he's sold NFTs on Stargaze to fundraise for the actual the Bitcoin farm.
Yeah,
so
that's awesome.
I mean, I don't see it, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that, because like if there was, you could be sure that the hammer would be coming down on this guy, right? Like he's not operating in the United States or Canada; he's in Russia. So I would be like a little bit more concerned. You know what I'm saying? I think I would be more concerned like about like abiding by the rules if I lived there than I would like with if I lived in Texas or something, where they're pretty lenient when it comes to crypto, right?
Dude,
So
what's more communist than having zones?
yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? When I heard the zones, I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like I don't know. It just kind of blew my mind a little bit, but
That's zones. Welcome.
Yeah.
It's like what is that movie with maybe
District 9 or whatever.
Katniss. I always like say like there's that tattooed goth lady, Kat Von D, right? Super awesome. And then it's the lady in the show is Katniss Everdeen, right? So I get them mixed up. Like I just call it like Katniss Von D, and people are like, dude, that's ridiculous. Like, learn your shit. Hunger Games. Yeah, Hunger Games. May the odds be
Yeah,
in your favor. Right? And
wasn't Leo DiCaprio in that one too?
Yeah, and I'm doing like the international sign for Hunger Games, right?
Yeah. The one with the V, where you put your like little fingers and your like two first fingers together.
Yeah.
And then separate them.
Yep. Are you watching?
Long live and prosper. Yeah, no, I'm not. I can't remember. We had this conversation the other day, dude. I can't watch the stream and like listen to the and talk on the space at the same time, or it like bugs me out. And like because
I only asked because you hit the nail on the head. I was doing the live long and prosper, and you knew it. So you just know me. Well.
Yeah, no, I know you too well. That's all.
My brother right there.
Yeah.
My brother from another mother. Harry.
So what's really going on here with RWAs, the Real Wrestling Association?
The Real World Wrestling Association.
Just kidding. I'm just kidding, guys. What's going on with Real? So besides Ondo, I mean, we know you love Ondo.
Yeah. I mean,
Ohm has like Ohm hit the fucking the I don't know what you would say, but
I would say like
doing well.
Right now, the big push is what's going to happen with the tokenization of stocks, and or how are they bringing equities onto market? How are they bringing this stuff on chain? Like that seems to be the most important thing. And like a lot of it seems
to be like Ondo, right?
At the end of the day, like there's a lot of vaporware and bullshit that we're all going to have to cut through, because anyone could create a website on ChatGPT and you've got the next RWA killer website, but how do you weed between the bullshit? So I wonder
you got to follow the big money is what I'm saying. And like that's where I think you're right with Ondo, right? Because they've got BlackRock backing and whatnot. I know Tash came up to the stage. He's probably got something like pretty like serious to say.
Potentially. Allegedly. What's up, Hash?
Eventually. Allegedly.
What is up, RWA peeps? Don't forget the peeps. It's a deep cut wrestling joke for anybody who's a Christian Cage fan. Tokenize the world, baby. Tokenize the world. I actually came up to ask about Robinhood, so we can I'm jumping back to before.
Perfect.
So oh, okay. I'll just do that. Didn't Robinhood like really screw a bunch of us over?
Yeah. But come on,
dude,
crypto's got the attention span of a squirrel, dude. Like they give everybody a couple free shares of some bullshit, and then everybody forgets all the bad stuff. It's like Facebook and Meta, and like, oh, we're just gonna change our name. Like, don't forget that we sold all your shit for like years and caused like irreparable damage to your children. Just it's a new name.
Hey, yo, don't be dissing on those squirrels. They have their memory is better than you think, man. You fire a couple of like shots like a couple inches from their head, And trust me, they remember what like how not to come back to. Not to say that I've done this personally.
Listen, I
I'm
would
just,
say
I would never be so cruel to an animal, but like I know guys that are slingshot enthusiasts, and I'm telling you, I've seen the same squirrel come back over and over and over. And after a couple of good like zingers right past the head, like you never see that motherfucker again.
would you ever have a pet squirrel?
I personally, if he was like clean and like he didn't have like mange and shit, you know what I mean? Because there's some pretty mangy looking
I mean, ultimately,
squirrels.
ultimately that'd be up to you. You're the squirrel owner. You'd have to make sure that he was clean and not mangy, I suppose. So
Yeah, well, okay, so that's up to me. So if I started off with a fresh little baby squirrel,
yeah,
I'd probably have a squirrel as a pet. I mean, it's basically like a fancy rat.
would you do the
Really,
like people get like
but-
raccoon pets? Would you have a raccoon as a pet?
Oh yeah, totally. Raccoons are cool.
They aren't they mean?
Raccoons are cool. Yeah, and then dude, you can like teach them to like fucking rob people. Like, not that I would do that.
Okay.
But I mean, like, you could like I've seen people train them to like pickpocket people. It's hilarious.
I mean, I've seen that video. I'm sure everybody's seen it now, right? Where the raccoon like runs to the garage and like double handful scoops some cat food and runs away, or dog food or whatever. You have not seen that?
Absolutely adorable.
No one said, "Holy shit!"
Adorable.
Yeah, that's so funny. You guys have not seen
Yeah,
that?
no. Well, I don't know. I've seen it.
I'm gonna have to like.
It was hilarious and adorable. I thought it was cuter than it was funny, right? Because it's just a handful of nuts. It's not like he actually like robbed a guy's credit card. So I've seen ones where they robbed the credit card, and you're like, "Holy shit! These are some like gypsy ass squirrels, man." Anywho, we don't want to get down on gypsies.
Mike, would you
It's
have
not
a
your
squirrel?
fault if
Would
you
you
were
take a
born in
squirrel as a
that
pet
lifestyle.
in?
Oh fuck yeah, and I would call it Peanuts.
For fuck's sake, Mike.
Hey, careful,
Peanuts.
that dude's pretty litigious.
Yeah, that's kind of racist, Mike.
Peanuts the squirrel?
Hey, maybe it'll be like an attack squirrel. Like, go get him, Peanuts. I remember we'll call him D's Nuts. Remember when D's Nuts was running for president?
No. What? There was someone named D's Nuts that ran for president?
Yeah, but wasn't it the
D's
last
Nuts
Trump
guy.
administration? There's like a one candidate. It was a fucking joke thing, but somebody apparently was running for president. D's Nuts.
Oh yeah.
In a democracy, you can always do a write-in.
You got 9% of the vote in North Carolina. Can you imagine? Brady Olson registered under the name D's Nuts. Yep. That's very funny.
I'm telling you, if Kanye can like apply to be president, then anyone can.
Would you
These
really
nuts.
want to though? Like, would you? And not because like you
Nobody
don't want
wants that job.
responsibility, but,
Nobody,
like, you just gotta
no
feel like
sane person.
you got to be like a narcissist to do that, right?
Oh, a narcissist, a psychopath, a fucking goddamn certifiable fucking lunatic, man. You've got to be like to take that job as we're talking about president of the United States, right?
I think the president of or like the pretty much like any key politician anywhere, right?
Yeah, you've got to be fucked. Straight up. Let's be real.
Yeah.
Mike?
Like, would you be a president
Gosh.
or a prime minister
Back me
or
up here. No, like I mean,
That
well,
sounds terrible.
no, yeah, it's the worst job ever. Like nobody wants that job, really, unless you've got like nefarious.
but you know,
agenda
sometimes you got the leaders that are beloved, and that would be great. And you know, maybe you're good to the people.
Those people are like retard savants or something, though. They're not like real life people.
How long does
I
that
think
even
at
last?
this point, like what would need to be done to like really benefit society would never win in an election right now. I don't think that would be what's sexy to win an election. And to be honest, what's going to fix a lot of society's problems is going to take more than 4 years to do. It's going to take probably decades at this point. And how do you sell that to the people?
with implementing a king.
Tokenization of your property.
You know, it's funny you say that, Jay, because I read something that that actually to fix a lot of the problems on monarchy is actually better than a democracy because everybody has one focal point, like everything's for the nation, everybody works together.
Why do you think we have less rebellions? We just talked about the Commonwealth the other day, Jay, remember? And like, why do you think nobody's like up in arms about being a part of that? Like, we're not like all fucking like. I mean, there is a part of Canada that is like, oh yeah, we don't like the monarchy and stuff. But for the most part, like, you don't hear about people like rioting about like being a part of the monarchy and like, oh, we got to get off the fucking monarchy standard. And you know, like they either don't give two shits or they just don't care, or they like care but they are too lazy to do anything about it, or you know what I'm saying? Like it just isn't high on our like fucking agenda to get off of the to get away from the monarchy.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
like
democracy is AKA just a DAO, man. That's it. It's just an old fashioned DAO where everybody's just got to be in agreement, and we can't just have one person deciding what happens.
Well, but no, it's not. That's the problem, right? It's not actually a DAO. Democracy is representational democracy, right? Like we elect someone to make decisions on our behalf. We don't actually vote on things. Like a DAO is kind of great because then you can vote on issues that come up as opposed to just like hoping that the guy or girl that you elected is going to vote the way you wanted. So again, we don't have democracy, I don't think really anywhere. We have representation and then hope and then hope. But if we tokenize,
Tash nailed it there with democracy. Yeah.
If we tokenize
monarchy very different because like monarchy is kind of like it rains down on you and you don't have like much else to say about it, right? But like as long as it's a benevolent monarchy, nobody seems to give a shit. Like, but you know, like with an elected democracy, you feel as though your elected leaders should have the exact same views as you do, and they don't always, vote the same way that you want them to, and that causes frustration and people to get angry and shit, right?
Do all DAOs need to like? Is the vote structure based on like the amount of tokens that you hold, or is everything just a 1-for-1?
Yes.
See,
no, it's
that would never work.
Even NFTs, the number of NFTs that you hold even is like in some certain DAOs. Like I'm a part of certain DAOs, and there's no tokens involved. It's just like the number of NFTs that you hold in your wallet.
Well,
actually,
I don't want to do like a blockchain 101 carry, but technically an NFT is just a token.
Yeah, true that. Okay.
It's a token with a picture on it.
It is. It's just like you're more likely to have like NFT in your wallet if you're a real human being than if you have like tokens in your wallet that could be just botted. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. I hate all that fake stuff. All those coins you can't interact with, all those scammy NFTs that you get. I mean, it's been obviously a whole process, and at some point, maybe that stuff will go away. But scammers will always be scammers. They will always find a way to scam.
Yeah, it's just right now, like a lot of the people that are involved in NFT communities, they're using these NFTs as like a way to gate their communities because the chances of a bot holding an NFT in their wallet are lower than a bot just holding some like a handful of like token, right? Like of a token. And it's kind of true
like
to a degree, right?
And you got to
same
think
thing
of
with
like,
airdrop people.
Yeah, and as a founder of a project, if you're using this as like, again, like think about someone like me, like if I'm going to use this to create these, all these different companies and businesses, and we're going to create these organizations and get everybody involved and do all this stuff, like I would want to make sure that some fucking idiot that, and you could probably safeguard against, like I'm sure in a smart contract, someone having more than a certain percent of the supply, right? So that you can't get roasted. I don't know if you can do that with coins or not. I'm sure that you maybe can. But the whole idea that someone just can't nuke your chart, by selling, you know, one NFT or two NFTs or whatever. You know, I feel like that's more of a mental safeguard as the founder or the entrepreneur, the business leader, whatever, peace of mind, if that makes sense.
Yeah, we
and
call that
especially when
the
it's
Machi Big Brother contingency.
Yes, you're very actually. Thank you for I forgot that people like Machi existed.
Like, literally operate that exact way in several DAOs. I remember his push to get Thread Guy on the Ape Council, and he was like, I can just like single-handedly vote you in. Like, it's crazy.
That's the whole thing
yeah,
about
the part
DAOs.
of it is
That's,
kind
you
of
know,
crazy.
the unintended consequence of that system is how the influence of just a very small few could play the role. Where I think we've even talked about this on the show before, where, you know, something at the last minute was passed or it was denied because of, you know, the ability of one person because of how much of the supply they control, which is not a good thing.
No, but if that person has their shit staked, and I mean they're part of the community, and they have that much of a vested interest in the moving forward and the shaping of the company, or the organization or the community, as it were.
Yep.
Then, you know, like, I don't know, like, isn't it like it's kind of in a DAO situation? It's kind of their like right, I guess, to do that, right? Like, I mean, and you are staking the token. That's the other thing, like, right? Like with an NFT, it's like there's like a fucking sometimes like a 21-day unbonding period, right? So like you don't want to like be like staking and unstaking your tokens, you're leaving your NFTs either, right? Like, because in, you know, we all know what happens in like 30 days or 21 days or whatever to the price of something. You could be like thinking, I'm gonna front run the price, or I'm gonna cash out now because the price is good, and then 21 days later, it's like
I'm gonna dunk
worth
on
like
my
half of what
homie.
you know what I mean? It's I don't know. Like if you got something enough staked, I don't know. I just I agree with Haps. The DAO can be a beautiful thing. It's kind of like a communism kind of a situation, I guess, maybe, where like it's ideally there's an idealism to it that's like beautiful, but like in practice maybe it's not so much. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's a lot of things to consider. You know, when you are trying to put all these things together. And I know that, you know, obviously we're dealing with, you know, our world being adopted globally, and, you know, this being embedded into the financial ecosystem. So a lot of our goalposts and a lot of our goals are changing and moving constantly. So I just, you know, I'm very curious about how a lot of this stuff is going to work, and how we can make it all happen. And, you know, even, you know, talk about staking. I mean, even that point, like, you know, knowing if you were to say, okay, you know, if you not only if you own this NFT, you know, now, you know, you get, say, you know, say it's for, I don't know, you get a slice of pizza at all the events or whatever, right? Like now with the whole idea, man, where the fuck was I on that? Like,
NFT, DAO, staking,
yeah, staking.
getting
Yeah.
a
So instead
slice of
of, thank
pizza
you,
back.
instead of just getting some of like the typical utility that you would get as a token holder, you know, now there's staking, and you get staking rewards, and, you know, from the staking rewards, like if you plan to stake, then that's how you get, you know, maybe some of the rev share of the actual business. You know, how do you get around that as security stuff? And again, if anybody knows anything about this, my brother's an attorney, and he's going to be looking into all this stuff for me. But, you know, if anybody has specific experience, like, please, at any point during these conversations, y'all are more than welcome to come up here and hang out and chat with us. Like, I appreciate that. And I appreciate you guys being here. And it's also a good time to smash that like if you have not yet. Or it's a heart. I forget. We're only live on
Smash the
Wednesday.
like button.
Party time.
Smash the like button.
Oh, so Carrie, did you see, you know, how we always on Fridays we order the pizzas, and you have taken a liking because Emmy wanted rainbow pizza, and you like to order the rainbow pizza?
Dude, I saw this rainbow. Did I send you the rainbow pizza that I found?
No.
It was like an actual rainbow pizza, man. It's like some crazy person like took all this dough and like colored dyed it, like made this like rainbow pizza out of it.
So
I can't believe I didn't send it to you.
So
Maybe it was on Facebook. Yeah,
that rainbow bagel shop that I had sent the picture of. Did you see that?
That was hilarious.
Yeah,
I did see that.
I will say, not for nothing, I love my daughter, so don't get me wrong, but she did like when I got
It wasn't a
picked up
good
at the airport,
bagel.
she did just like wake up from a nap like the moment that I closed the door, and so whatever, and we were in the car for a few minutes, and I was like, oh, I got you this rainbow bagel because I was so excited to give it to her. She's like, yeah, I don't want that.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I ended up eating it. I ate the bagel. I ate the bagel because she didn't like it.
Fuck. Come on now. She didn't want a rainbow bagel.
I have to agree. We did a very similar thing. The concept of the rainbow bagel, very interesting for the kid. Eating it, that was a whole other mess. And I also ended up eating the rainbow bagel. So I feel you.
So, but long story short on all of that, or long story longer, I should say. So at that bagel shop, they do. So now, look, if you look on the screen, well, it's kind of blurry, but you can make out what it says. Now serving pizza bagels. Welcome, pizza lovers. So that means, in theory, we have a place where we could go get the rainbow bagel dressed up as a pizza and actually have rainbow pizzas that commercially
Rainbow pizza bagel.
Pizza bagel pizza. Pizza bagel bagel.
Oh my god. Rainbow bagel pizza. Oh my god. She's not gonna like this? How is she not gonna like this? What kid doesn't wanna what little girl that loves like
Rainbow
looks like a little princess
rainbow everything
doesn't want friggin' that's what I'm saying. She doesn't want a rainbow pizza bagel?
No, she didn't even want the bagel
What's wrong with
itself.
that kid?
Can't imagine she
What's wrong with this kid? She's just picky. It's okay. She's at that age. I know. I was a Libra too. We're just like picky at that age.
Well,
but like she'll grow back
Carrie,
into rainbow pizzas.
Carrie, you said I was a Libra too. You happen to still be a Libra, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
I am. Hey.
That's why I have such a fucking hankering for rainbow pizza right now.
Well, I was just making sure because I know
Friday.
People do like to change their genders. Maybe this is like a new thing now where we change our birthdays. It's like no.
Yeah, no.
I associate with a December birthday, so I'm now going with a December birthday I've chosen for myself. So
yeah, I'm a Pisces now, or whatever it is. Sandra,
I've always felt like an Aquarius. So
is that what it is? Aquarius?
Being born in February. Yeah.
Water carrier.
I will tell you, I am the quintessential Taurus. I am a Taurus. Listen, I've got all the good qualities too, but all of the bad qualities, like the stubbornness, I got it like at 1,000% level. So I'm your quintessential Taurus, baby. What's everybody else?
Yeah.
Mike, what do you? Mike?
What? Sorry.
I want to say he's a Taurus too.
There's some shit going on, so I'm just kind of like things are happening in the back. I'll tell you guys about it in the group chat.
Oh, all right.
No, you can't tell us what your sign is though.
No.
I guess
well, my
not.
sign.
Wow.
Honestly, I've been in and out of paying attention, to be honest.
Oh, okay. So what are you then?
What my like zodiac sign? Is that what we're talking about?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm a Gemini. I'm a Gemini.
You're a
like,
Gemini. Nice.
Like I was May 21st, and I think Taurus ends on the 20th. So
on the cusp. I knew it. I knew you were on the cusp of being a Taurus.
I'm straddling that line.
Yeah. He's yeah. Woo, yeah.
Giddy up.
Okay, calm down. I'm not that excited.
Just chomping at the bit here.
Anywho.
Hey, anybody else wants to come up and talk about their zodiac sign? More than welcome to.
Yeah.
If not, we're shutting this thing down. I know my wife's in the crowd. Honey, what are you?
Yes.
She might be on a work call. Well, no one wants to talk to us anymore. It's time to go.
No, we filled its space. Not as bad as that guy the other day, though. Holy shit. That was like I had a full on stroke. I think.
More about squirrels.
Don't fuck with those squirrels, man. I'm telling you.
The squirrel mafia.
We're gonna have to like change dimensions and go to a whole new planet.
I am also a Gemini.
Hey, that's where it's at. Let's go.
But I'm a full Gemini. For sure.
Yeah, I can see it. I love it.
There's no
I'm down for it.
So wait, you guys are both Geminis?
Yeah, but Mike might not be. You know,
No, I'm a
Gemini
LARP.
as me.
I'm LARPing as a Gemini.
Wow. So a Gemini and a Taurus. That's cool.
Does anybody what does that mean? Like,
I don't know.
I don't know either. I'm just supposed to say that's cool. I know that much. Sander knows what it means. It means like when it's like you're bullheaded and and Whitney is says split personality.
1000%.
Yeah.
well, it's
Like just like I'm
says,
supposed to be the balance, but I'm the most like indecisive motherfucker you'll ever meet.
Seems fair.
Yeah.
GM guys, hey, I hate to cut in and change it up a little, but I have a question. Does anybody have a problem with Femex setting a stop loss inside of profit?
like, because it's hard to do.
No.
It's
I mean,
not
it won't
working?
let me set it. Yeah, that too, right? No, it won't let me set a stop loss inside of profit, and I've been trying to get a hold of their customer service, but it's a big rigmarole. You have to send them a email.
Yeah, I got a person. I'll send her a message.
You're not having any problems with that? Have you? I mean, I'm in the middle of a juicy long right now, and I've been trying to set a stop inside of profit, but it won't let me. It just the confirm button won't light up.
No, I'm to be honest with you, I'm terrible with like stop losses and all that stuff. I just ride them. I don't put stop losses in the loss, in the profit. I run. What are these? I run my trades raw or naked or whatever it's called.
You raw dog.
I usually
Commando.
do, but I gotta go to work, and I want to set this thing so if it drips, I don't. It doesn't steal my whole.
Yeah.
I'm up like almost 100% right now.
Oh hell yeah, dude! Nice. Yeah, I sent my lady a message, and if I I will send you a DM.
That'd be great, dude. I appreciate it. And I wanted to say, hey, I love what you guys do, and I don't talk much, but I'm usually here, and like one dude a minute ago, I'm in and out of paying attention a lot because I'm usually working. But I love you guys, man, and I appreciate you.
Appreciate you, dog, man. Appreciate you popping up. What
Hey,
sign are you? What's your zodiac
around,
sign?
Michael?
I'm a Capricorn, bro, all the way.
Fucking Capricorns.
Fuck yeah.
Pardon my language. As a workaround, you could also consider closing your position in profit right now and reopening a new position and then setting a stop loss as you would normally, because then it wouldn't be in the profits. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's a good idea. But then I lose my awesome position if it keeps running.
Well, no, you
But if
don't.
it keeps running, then it doesn't matter. Yeah, you're right.
You don't lose anything.
That's a good point. I'll do that then, because I really don't want to go to work and leave this thing where it's at.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. You know that the right now where the market loves to just give everything back that we gain. So yeah, protect it at all costs, my brother.
Yeah, good advice. Thank you, guys. Y'all have a nice day.
Coming in clutch. Absolutely, you too, brother.
Nice.
My pleasure.
Nice
I
trade.
love that. JChains is.
What's up, guys?
His advice is just run around with no underwear on.
We're going streaking to the quad through the gymnasium. I think I said that backwards. We're not going through the gymnasium. We're going to the gymnasium through the quad. So, been a while since. What's that movie called?
I had it right
Old
on the tip of my
school.
tongue.
Old school.
Yeah, there you go.
Thank you. All I could think of was "You're my boy, Blue." At that moment, literally, I was about to say "You're my boy, Blue," but I was like, "Bro, that is not the name of the movie," and I know that for a fact. So don't say it.
Bro, you got a dart in your neck.
I like you, but you're crazy. Man, what's up, blockchain?
I'm a
Brooke, brother?
Sagittarius.
What up? What up? What up? What up, guys? How you doing?
Oh man, we're chilling. We're having a good time. You know, we're sitting at the breakfast
Dude,
table, hanging out
right?
with homies, talking zodiac signs like a bunch of
For
dudes would
sure.
normally do. What's your zodiac sign, my guy?
What's up, man? Yeah, dude, I'm out here in Seattle, dude. 8 a.m. in the morning, freaking. I have a truck for a living, so I just decided to pull over for a second, jump in and say hi and hit you guys up. I'm technically a Leo. I'm born in July, so my birthday's coming up here.
Oh shoot, brother!
Right at the end of the
happy
month.
early birthday.
Hey, thanks, man. But I was thinking, dude, freaking, what do you guys think about this whole Trump and Elon thing reuniting? I think that it's all a show, man. I really do. I think they're trying to separate, because everybody was saying that Elon was the president. Well, now it's like the optics don't look that way, you know, and because he's like, well, Trump's technically running the country, and then they're putting all this light on the EV mandate, and freaking everybody knows that Elon's no dummy. That guy's freaking smart as hell. He knew what he was getting into. I think it's just they pointed out, which made a lot of sense to me, that he said move successful with their cars. They don't technically need it, but all the other car industries do. I'm like, that is really true, man.
Yeah, I would definitely say a lot of political theater, right? Like those guys know the attention economy. They know, you know, if it was the optics were that they were too close, just throw a little argument in the middle. I think at this point nobody believes that that was for real, like unless you've got you know some kind of syndrome.
We can only hope because it's entertaining.
Yeah, that's true.
It's so entertaining. Besides the fact it makes the markets go down. Like, gosh dang it, I wish I had more money to throw into crypto.
Oh, dude, brother. I think all of us are in that same situation where it's like, all right, like we didn't, you know, we bought all those dips, man. We bought all those dips. Now it's time to catch some rips, and we're due for it. I know we are, but soon.
Yeah. What do you think? And we've been projecting out on our show since like May that we were thinking end of July, early August time frames where we might start getting the movement.
Q3 was always kind of like that time frame to start looking to really to have the big push, and I think everybody was anticipating, you know, the bull run to be wrapped up by the end of this year, but at this point, like, you know, maybe we'll bleed into 2026 a little bit, but yeah, I feel like we've got to start making that leg up so that we can have this thing wrapped up, you know, in time, like, you know, we're supposed to, unless we're in a super cycle, which I'm down to have that conversation if anybody else is, but you know, if it's just normal.
Well, I mean, super cycle is so funny because there's two different styles of super cycles. You know, you can have a long, drawn out, a slower cycle. You can have one that just rips to 2-3 times whatever everything else, you know, is normal, and it can be quick.
So I've solved this several times on this show, and I think some people, you know, it's exciting if we were to happen, and you would think, you know, the late 80s through the 90s in the United States, it was 88 to 2000. We went on 12-year bull run with the U.S. stock market, right? Things were kind of emerging, tech was getting changing, and all that kind of stuff, right? So we brought on this absolute super cycle, if you will. Like, who's to say that we can't do that in crypto, where we go on, let's just say, a decade-long bull run, right? Where it's just sustained. We go up into the right, maybe a little bit of volatility here and there, but no prolonged bear markets like what we've experienced.
Yeah.
And, you know, this is what cements everything to where we're at. And then from there, you know, obviously the volatility goes way down because you know, the market caps get so large and everything's so big. So we lose the rocky terrain, and, you know, and then it's smooth sailing. You know, we shift into, you know, back into whether it's a 4-year cycle or whatever the cycle ends up being from there. But who knows, right? Who really knows?
Yeah. Well, I always tell people too, because they always tell this whole cycle's changed, and I'm like, well, technically, no. It's actually the best cycle we've ever had for Bitcoin. Bitcoin's at 104,000. It's not sitting at 60 grand right now. And yeah, alts are hurting more than normally because usually we'll get a run up and then we'll keep it, but we'll still have the volatility up and down. But the traditional altcoin cycle is 1,084 days on average of like the previous bottom of all time, and we're like 1,000. Technically, we could still wait out like another 50 days before the average altcoin season starts.
I hate that, but you're right. My thing I'm waiting for is Bitcoin to do a 70% dominance, right? Once we see that, then we know we're actually like on
That's what I'm waiting.
What's that?
Yeah, I was saying, well, if you look at the dominance too, because we talk about this a lot, is the dominance is at 65 right now or something like that,
Yeah,
and
65
a traditional altcoin like. Yeah, well, like a traditional altcoin season starts like when it hits like 67 to 70%. And so I'm like, we're close. We're not quite there yet. But yeah, you know, history rhymes. And if you look at the dominance, it literally goes straight up like the weekly chart. And you're like, bro, when it's time to flip, a lot of the dominance money is gonna fall quick in the alts.
Yeah, dude.
Quick.
When it drops down, when we see that thing drop down to like 40-45%, I got it's altcoin season. Like that will be altcoins. And you can still see that, and what people get like afraid of is like Bitcoin, the price of Bitcoin can still go up even though dominance goes ways down. Like that's still a thing. Like nobody has to freak out. Like I'm not saying that Bitcoin's gonna go down, just the dominance does because money starts to flow into altcoins.
Correct. And I think retail's starting to get a glimpse of interest. Like this last week is the first time I felt like retail actually has taken a look, which is crazy to think that retail's not even in right now. We have all these billion-dollar market caps, so a lot of these blue chips. I was talking last night on the show that it's weird to see blue chips and people to expect like 100x. I mean, like what last market was bottom was like $70 and we have like $4,000. Chips did extreme numbers like that. Like ADA did too. ADA ran up from like a penny to $3.50 practically. So I'm looking at these altcoins right now. You got ADA sitting at 50 cents. Can blue chips run like that still? Because Ethereum wasn't a small gem back then, but it's still practically 100x. Can we expect those types of gains, or do people expect that, or what's realistic? Because I'm in the ballpark of like a 10x. I think is totally realistic for Cardano. I would like to see like $7 to $12 range, but it's really interesting because people didn't see like ETH running like how it did last time. So what are people expecting this time for other blue chips? Because there weren't very many blue chips. Like they've really hatched last cycle.
It's really interesting. I definitely feel like a lot of projects have a lot of running power, and we are going to see multiple 10x's more obviously in certain projects. You think about the days of Bitcoin, obviously, like, and that's one of the things that we talk to people about, and I'm sure you guys do it, and most people say, like, if you're investing in Bitcoin, unless you're already independently wealthy, unless you already have a fuck ton of money, you're not really going to get rich off of Bitcoin. Now, do you want to make the case of it's the safest investment? Yeah, sure, you could do that, but that's not, if people are chasing X's and ROIs, like you got to do some other things. Ethereum, what do we think Ethereum is going to get to? 10,000 this cycle at the most, right? Can it go higher than that?
I feel like 10,000 is pretty optimistic for Ethereum to be. I think it's probably going to hit like 92, maybe.
Okay. Well, I mean, still, it's still getting up there. Whereas, a lot of people for the last little bit have been calling Ethereum dead, right? And you can look at on-chain data where I think the on-chain metrics are showing that Ethereum is pretty much moving the needle right now in a lot of fronts. You talk about Cardano. I don't care. I still love to make my jokes. Was it? I think DZ had posted something yesterday about some kind of metric. Let's look it up so I'm not absolutely lying. It was some kind of metric about Cardano and some things, and I said, yeah, but are there any users on it, right? Like, is there anybody actually using Cardano? And it's no
I
slam,
make that joke all the time.
Think about like dApps and what people are using, and if you look at on-chain stuff, and I'm putting together a tweet about this because it's like we got to start to think about this, where we can't just be speculators holding on to coins, right? If you look at what is your most on-chain activity on what blockchain, right? Like I know unequivocally, like VeChain is my number one blockchain that I use because I'm participating in all the VBetterDAO ecosystems multiple times a day, right? And maybe trading on certain blockchains or, participating on NFTs or whatever here and there is one thing. But I think as far as consistent activity, like VeChain is my number one. I would like to critically ask people, as far as if you think about Cardano, again, I'm using VeChain multiple times every single day, on chain, right? What are people doing on Cardano? What is on Cardano that people are actually able to do on chain?
Well, there are some things that I know Trent talks about, but I'm in this similar boat as you. Like, I don't know a lot of activity that is on Cardano. I know it does have activity, but I think one of Cardano's strong points is, how always people considered Ethereum like silver to Bitcoin. I think Cardano almost has that same exact vibe to it, because the Ethereum blockchain might slow down in time. It's always going to be bought by the U.S. government once that really starts rolling. I think Cardano is going to have a strong push with that environment. I think because the government's buying it, I don't think it's going anywhere. Whether people use it or not, I think the number multiply going up. Now, is Cardano the best blockchain? I don't necessarily think it is. And I think new blockchains are coming out every single day. So there's a lot of who's to say what is the best until we actually get there. But the competition and the drive for everything to exceed and get better, I think, is quite large. And I'm a huge VeChain fan, man. I have a big old bag of it too. So I'm all about the what you're pushing on X, dude. I love it, man. Seeing it.
Oh,
yeah. Go get it, JChains.
Let's go. Yeah, I'm gonna be doing
accurate. But Fred.
No, go for it, man.
What'd you say?
I said, I'm gonna be doing a big push with a lot of the a lot of those VBetter ecosystem projects. We're gonna start bringing them on, doing interviews with what they've got going on, and plus, like, same thing with other one. I know, I said earlier, I'm gonna record a podcast with Jerome today, but you guys, if you've watched some of the videos, you understand who he is. When him and I were talking the other day on the phone, he wants to, and I can't remember the exact connection, but Carrie, you had mentioned Stargaze. Like, I would love to, let's do a big Stargaze day again, right? And I would love for him to be a part of it, because there's some kind of connection that he either has or he's trying to make with the Stargaze team. And so, for, again, anybody who's building something that's worth a damn, I love being able to partner with. And I think, mental health awareness and working with athletes and entrepreneurs. I mean, look, I fight Karate Combat and Crypto Fight Night. I would consider myself an entrepreneur. I think this is a great thing. All of us are going through or have gone through things or will go through things. And so to have, whether it's an outlet, a support team, or whatever you need, as far as your mental health goes, I think is absolutely important. So I'm looking forward to chatting with him later today. Again, that podcast will be out later this week or early next week, depending on how it goes and what the editing looks like. So.
Well, yeah. I hate to put you on the spot, JChains, but I got it back on the road because stupid GPS was in my truck that I'm sure works. Like, why is he sitting there so long? taking my break, damn it.
Right.
But are you interested in coming on the show and doing an interview about vegan with us?
Yeah, absolutely.
I know I mentioned it before in the chats.
Yeah, I'll shoot you a DM and we'll get that thing lined up. I've got some open availability coming up, so yeah, let's get something lined up for sure.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. That sounds good. I'll hit you up later, brother. I'm gonna get back on the road.
All right, man.
Hey, peace out, guys. Deuces.
Appreciate you.
I'll still here, but I'm gonna be listening.
Got you. All right, brother.
And so you said you use VeChain.
What's that?
Oh shit, we're like 16 minutes over us. I was just gonna launch into another fucking VeChain thing, but like
so
we're 16 over.
Jerome and I are
16
recording
minutes
at 1,
over.
so I got a little time.
Okay, well, yeah. So you said that like you're using VeChain every day, all right? Like, but how much traffic is actually going through the network, and would you actually like send somebody there as a investment opportunity? Because I know I use the Cosmos ecosystem like every day, and like if we were gonna do like a Stargaze day, we might as well do like a Cosmos day, because there's so many like parts involved, and it's like there's like bits there that are like kind of collecting cosmic dust and like should be like kind of almost like retired. But oh shoot, just ran off my rails.
Good. So it was about using on-chain stuff with being on-chain and like
Oh yeah. So how much because since you started using the better system, like the mug filling and the water and all that, like you've been using a lot, but like have you noticed, like have you gone on chain and actually like checked out how many like extra users it's onboarded like to the VeChain ecosystem?
So that particular number, no, I bet we could probably. And what's good is like again, I am setting up conversations with all the different dApps throughout the VBetter ecosystem, and we're going to probably, like, some guys are on vacation, and some people will be available next week, that kind of stuff. So all this stuff will start to roll out, and we'll see. But we've seen statistics where there's been over 1 million registered users on this particular dApp or whatever, right? And so like we understand that there's some quantifiable things where people like me, like I again, this is sustainable ecosystem stuff. So like let's use the mugshot for example. It's eliminating paper coffee cups, right? You get or teacups, you get rewarded for again, a ceramic mug counts. I use multiple Yeti cups and stainless steel or whatever, which to me that's ultimately if you're trying to be sustainable, everybody's got a Stanley thermos or a Yeti or whatever it is, right? Everybody's got their water jug. And if you're drinking coffee, with the exception of when you're home, it's very easy because most people have ceramic mugs. But when you're out and about, getting a paper cup to drink your coffee out of, like it's very simple things that you just change your lifestyle and you get rewarded for it. So yeah, hopefully that answered your question. I don't even know if I answered your question, Terry.
Well, I don't know either, but like it seems like you've kind of did, because you said you were like there was millions of people like using the app. So like that means that there's millions of people being onboarded onto the VeChain ecosystem that weren't there before. As like, you know what I mean? They might not be like retail investors.
Yeah,
but they're users of
that's
the
the thing,
ecosystem.
man. Like this thing is being targeted to just normal people. I mean, I had posted a video when we did the UFC fight here as a fight night just a few weeks ago. There was up in the on the screens, and they played the thing on the loudspeaker all throughout the stadium. It was a commercial basically about the VBetter DAO ecosystem that Sonny had narrated, right? And I know that somebody had posted something that there was at the Power Slap, maybe there was something about it. So the whole idea of they are marketing this, and you got Dana White, who's a strategic advisor of VeChain now, and him and Sonny with VeChain are like buddy. Like Sonny called him his brother. He said that's the kind of relationship they have. And so the whole idea is they are marketing this particular ecosystem to just straight up normal people. The whole idea is these are things you're already doing. Like my wife earns, it's like 6 tokens every time she picks up our dog shit. That's like, I don't know, 6 times, like, I don't know. It's more than 25 cents. I think it's like 6 or 8 cents.
Yeah, it's a no-brainer. Like really, like, you know what I mean? Like you're earning tokens for something that you do every day.
You're already doing it. It's like, okay, right? So
it might not be a lot. Like kind of ties into real world assets, sort of, right? Like it's bringing the real world into Web3, right?
Yeah,
it's joining Web2 and Web3, which is a good thing. And on any day.
Yeah, and like at the end of the day, would you say is it changing the world, and what kind of onboarding is it doing? You're just getting rewarded. Yeah, I would say maybe it is changing the world because we're making it cleaner with some of the the sustainable things. And there's a lot of other dApps that do a lot of different things, whether it's having your appliances at home on eco mode. Like maybe you hang some things out to dry in the sun. You can get rewards for doing all sorts of different things that just people do. It's a cool thing, and I know that there are other projects that are popping up and other projects that are doing things. It just so happens, like, because it was, and why it's really important for me and why I think it's such a big deal is, look at my personal situation. I've been in crypto since 2017. My wife hasn't given a fucking shit about it since, right? But this is something that I was able to get her excited about and doing. She uses the app to clean up our dog poop. She does her coffee. She does her water. She's doing some other things, right? Like, so this has gotten my wife into crypto and doing stuff actually like on chain, not just speculating on coins, which that to me is, she's just a regular person. And if we can find more ways to bring people in that way, just regular people, now we've got more people, regular people, participating in our ecosystem. So I think it's a massive thing. It's a low barrier to entry, and not that that's a bad thing. I think it's a really good thing with how complex crypto is. You start up a wallet, bada boom, bada bing, you write down your seed phrase, go hide that in our safe, and then now you can just start to earn some token. I got to send her some VeChains so she can swap some over if she wants to swap some better token into VeChain, so she can do that or participate in some other stuff or get some NFTs, but she's earning every day. And, it's fun. And we did a video several weeks about her kind of entrance into it and going through all this stuff. Now it'd be fun to do, a month or 2 months later, however long it's been, what have you earned? What have you learned? What do you like? That kind of stuff. So coming up soon.
Plus, she set up a seed phrase, man. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Mike.
Sorry, if we want to have like more adoption, I think we need to stop using this Web3 word, because instead of just like putting ourselves in a box, we just need to create, products that are just cool new ideas. And instead of just putting us into the Web3 and the Web2 box, if you want like to advertise Web2, just advertise a good idea, like the Power Slap like idea. Power Slap is already a thing, and slap competitions is popular on YouTube. UFC has like I think a league for it now. So like this is things that people were already watching, and then not everybody really cares about the crypto side or wants to look under the hood. So being able to pick up dog poop is something that people are doing already. So idea of making money, and then the crypto side of it, though, if they want to look into it down the road, they will.
Yep.
But just advertise it as earning, not like crypto this or crypto that or Web3. And the same thing I say with gaming, like we got to stop putting ourselves in this little box of Web3. Just advertise a game. Don't say you don't need to tell everybody it's about crypto. Just say it's a good game and here are the features.
It's so funny. And you think about,
I agree with that.
Or go ahead, Kerry. I'll let you go.
I was just going to say, I agree with all that, except that the key thing here is that you said it. She set up a seed phrase and put it away. So now she knows how to set up a seed phrase, and it was as easy as setting up a password and and putting your mailing address in for a Gmail account. Except you did one extra step. You know what I mean? We have to get people to maybe that has to be normalized, perhaps, right? Like. If we want to have custody over our own property, maybe that has to just be one step that is normalized in the creation of like an account or whatever. Or you don't even need the account. You don't even need a username and a password. Fuck passwords. You've got a seed phrase. That's your password, right? You just connect your wallet. So the fact that she did that, that's like a kind of a big deal. Like she made the transition, and we don't have to call it Web3, no, but she did it.
What are we gonna call the show, guys? Just the Breakfast Club, because there already is one of those.
Oh my god.
I'm kidding. We can always find a new name for it. Ash, go for it, my guy.
Yeah, we got a lot of Canadians up here, so I think they might know Canadian Tire. It's one of our most beloved Canadian stores. And when you shop there, you got Canadian Tire money. It's like one of the first rebate programs or whatever you want to call it that was engaging for me as a kid, because you could collect it. It was like 1 cent, it was nothing.
Dude, it's a bank. It's a real bank, bro.
Yeah, but I never thought to myself, how does that work? I was never like, how does this on the back end? Do they have that money? Is it saved somewhere, or on their? It didn't matter, and I think that's kind of where we need to get with the crypto space, where it doesn't matter how the seed phrase. Again, I think we'll get to a place where you don't need to do that. It already happens, right? With the Trump NFTs, I think was the first really, really big one, where it made the wallet for you. It just does all the things. It does all the things for you.
It's a one-stop shop.
Does it matter how you're? Sorry?
It's just a one-stop shop, right?
Yeah, a one-stop shop, and people don't really care. I think for the most part,
Well,
self-custody is great and all that stuff, but does it really matter? If the rewards program is on crypto,
doesn't matter.
Or blockchain, or but we do have a terrible branding problem. I agree.
Yeah, listen, and we are the crazy ones, right? We are the crazy ones. People don't just sit around talking about, I wonder how the intricacies of all this stuff, like how does this work? Like no one gives a shit. People just like live their own lives. Like when you tell people like you're into crypto, they're like, oh god, he's one of those. Like because they know that like they're not sitting around talking, you know, like people don't like, oh, just so you know, because I know about money, this is the color green that's on the Turkish lira bill. It is Turkey green, and you know, but people don't like know like intimate knowledge about fiat money and cash. Because that's ridiculous. No one cares except
Are you
us.
a billionaire in Zimbabwe or something? I heard you were a Zimbabwean billionaire.
I am. Yeah. I got like 20 billion.
Well, let's think of a network. It's like they're advertising, hey, we can do 1 million transactions per second. You know, our settle time is this, and this. Like, what are you advertising to? You're advertising to maybe like a business or corporation, but the regular people, all they think about is like, can I spend my money here, and how easy is it? Like we need the UI, the UX to be improved and simplified in crypto. This is why I think like adding like Google Wallets and being able to connect to things with your Google Wallet. Like again, you're not reinventing the wheel here. You're just kind of integrating what everybody's already doing into crypto. Now you have a crypto wallet. Like that alone, I think is going to be a huge way to bring people in because everybody understands it already. You don't have to retrain people. Like everybody knows.
I think that'd be some fun. I'm gonna have to start doing some of this fun man on the street style content and like going out and being like, hey, do you know how many transactions per second the US dollar can handle? Do you know, just like all these stupid things that we're all just so freaking worried about here in crypto? Did you know? We'll call it the did you know.
How many can it do?
Huh?
That's a good question. One per second? What can it do? 1 per second times as many dollar bills as there are?
I mean, if there's one register, it's like, yeah, like not even 1 per second. It's like Ethereum, right?
Wait, are we talking about
Man,
globally?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm trying to figure out. Are we
that's a good
talking
point.
about like global cash transactions or
Off the fucking charts?
yeah, because like
Even if
people
we're
are
talking
exchanging
paper
bills.
money?
Yeah,
But
that's
that
what I'm saying.
transaction
Paper
is
money.
going to last more than a second, so you've got to find out what the fraction is. That's going to be the second.
Right, but every second people are buying things, right?
Yeah.
Creating bills for services.
So like, yeah,
as
one
you were
transaction might take 5 seconds, 12 seconds, a minute, but
All right,
an
so
hour.
if Hash, you're the substitute teacher and you've got to assign everybody some homework right now based on that, what's the homework?
I don't even know where you would but I guess you'd have to figure out how many cash transactions happen a year in US dollars total and then divide that out into seconds. I guess that's the really crude method. I don't know where that data is found though.